In today's fast-paced world, finding peace and meaning can be challenging. However, the wise teachings of Zen Buddhism facilitate alignment with the natural flow of life, enabling a more fulfilling existence. Today, we invite you on a journey with the Zen Story to explore 7 transformative Zen principles. Once upon a time, nestled among the mountains, lived an elderly Zen master and his young disciple. The disciple yearned to learn the secrets of life from his master. Here are the 7 Zen principles the master imparted to his student. 1. Understanding impermanence. One day, as the master and the disciple were walking at the foot of the mountain, the master pointed to a flower and said, "This flower, like life, is transient and its beauty fleeting. Flowers bloom, grow, and wither. Everything changes. Nothing lasts forever." The disciple took a deep breath while gazing at the flower and listened intently to his master. Understanding the impermanence of life is the first step towards peace. The master continued, "Instead of resisting change, we should embrace this naturalness. Everything has a beginning and an end. Accepting this cycle helps us cleanse ourselves of anxiety and fears." The master told the disciple a story. Once, after a great storm, villagers lost all their crops. However, a wise man comforted everyone by saying, "This too shall pass." Over time, the villagers planted new crops and again reaped a bountiful harvest. This story reminds us that even hard times are temporary. The disciple pondered these words deeply and attained inner peace by accepting the transient nature of life. To accept impermanence, said the master, is to appreciate the value of each moment. 2. Cultivating awareness. As the master and his disciple continued their walk to the top of the mountain, the master stopped and took a deep breath. "Awareness is about fully living in the moment," he said. "Every breath, every step is an opportunity to be aware of the present." The disciple listened attentively to his master and focused on his own breathing. "The regrets of the past and the anxieties of the future occupy our minds," said the master. "But awareness brings us back to the present moment and allows us to find peace here." The master suggested a simple exercise to the disciple. Close your eyes and focus solely on your breath. Feel how the breath moves through your body. This simple exercise will clear your mind and enhance your awareness. The disciple did as instructed, and as he breathed in and out, he noticed his mind settling. The master emphasized the importance of practicing awareness during daily activities. While eating, walking, or speaking, be aware of the moment. This will make your life richer and more meaningful. The practice of mindfulness brought more peace and inner balance to the disciple's daily life. Awareness, said the master, is to live each moment consciously and recognize the wonders of the present. 3. The art of letting go. One day, while walking on the mountain, the master asked the disciple to build a tower of stones. As the disciple carefully stacked the stones, they kept falling, causing the tower to collapse. Nearing frustration and defeat, the master calmly said, "Learning to let go is the key to peace. Desiring perfection in everything only brings suffering." The master told the disciple a story. Once, a great samurai warrior became obsessed with winning. However, one day when he was defeated, his teacher told him, "You must learn to let go. Winning and losing are both parts of life." These words changed the warrior's life. From that moment, he accepted victory and defeat with the same calmness. Inspired by his master's story, the disciple began to rebuild the tower. But this time, instead of getting angry at each falling stone, he enjoyed the process. Letting go, said the master, means striving without clinging to outcomes. Surrender to the natural flow of life and stop trying to control events. This lesson transformed the disciple's perspective on life. Instead of believing that everything must be perfect, he began to appreciate the value of each moment and every experience. "The art of letting go," said the master, "is one of the most important ways to find inner peace and enjoy life." 4. The power of silence. One morning, the master and the disciple quietly walked to the summit of the mountain. Upon reaching the top, the master took a deep breath and said, "Silence enhances our inner awareness and brings wisdom." The disciple felt the depth of the silence and listened to his master. "In silence, we cleanse our mind of its clutter and listen to our true self," the master added. "Stepping away from the noise of our daily lives is essential for finding our inner peace." To emphasize the power of silence, the master recounted a story. Once, a young monk thought he could attain wisdom by always speaking. However, an elderly sage decided to teach him silence. The monk remained silent for a week and finally discovered the inner calm and awareness that silence brought. In silence, he formed a deep connection with himself and the universe. Inspired by this story, the disciple began to embrace silence. He meditated in silence, clearing his mind of clutter. The master said, "Silence allows our mind to rest and rejuvenate. Creating moments of silence enhances our inner peace and clarity." The practice of silence brought more tranquility and balance to the disciple's life. Silence, said the master, is not just the absence of external noise, but also the presence of inner peace and consciousness. Silence helped the disciple listen to his inner guidance and reach a deeper understanding. 5. Compassion and kindness. On a winter day, the master and his disciple went down to the village to help a needy villager. As the villager expressed his gratitude with teary eyes, the master turned to his disciple and said, "Compassion is not only about helping others, but also about bringing peace to ourselves. Compassion and kindness strengthen our connections with others and open our hearts." The master shared a story. Once, a Buddhist monk used to sit and pray in front of the temple every day. One day, a beggar came to the temple and asked the monk for help. The monk shared the little food he had with the beggar. Gratefully, the beggar departed, and the monk felt a sense of peace within. This simple act increased the monk's inner peace and happiness. The disciple deeply absorbed the lesson from his master's story and grasped the power of compassion. He realized that helping others and alleviating their suffering also had positive effects on his own life. "Compassion," said the master, "unites people and softens our hearts." Compassion and kindness became essential values that the disciple practiced in his daily life. Helping others increased his inner peace and happiness. The master said, "Living with compassion makes the world a better place. Compassion opens our hearts and brings people together." This principle transformed the disciple's outlook on life and his relationships with others. Living with compassion helped him find deeper meaning and satisfaction in every moment of life. 6. Accepting what is one day. The disciple approached his master, troubled by his disrupted plans and feeling disappointed. The master looked at his disciple calmly and said, "Life does not always go as we wish. Accepting what is the key to peace." Reflecting on these words, the disciple realized that there are always elements beyond our control in life. The master shared a story to illustrate his point. Once, a farmer's horse ran away. His neighbors said, "How unlucky you are." The farmer replied, "Maybe yes, maybe no." The next day, the horse returned, bringing several wild horses with it. The neighbors exclaimed, "How lucky you are." The farmer responded, "Maybe yes, maybe no." One day, the farmer's son tried to tame one of the wild horses, fell off and broke his leg. The neighbors said again, "How unlucky you are." The farmer replied, "Maybe yes, maybe no." The next day, the army came to the village to draft young men into the army, but the farmer's son was spared due to his injury. This story left a profound impression on the disciple. He understood the importance of accepting events as they come and not judging them. The master explained, "Acceptance brings us inner peace and helps us be more flexible and resilient in the face of life's changes." When the disciple learned to accept what is, he freed himself from stress and anxiety. He learned to trust the natural flow of life and to accept every situation as it comes. Acceptance, said the master, is not about struggling against events, but seeing them as they are and learning from them. This principle profoundly transformed the disciple's life, bringing him peace and tranquility. 7. Living in the moment. One day, as the master and disciple were sitting by a lake, the master quietly watched the reflections on the water. Turning to the disciple, he said, "Every moment holds infinite value. By freeing ourselves from the regrets of the past and the worries of the future, we can fully live in the present." The disciple reflected on his master's words and realized the immense value of the current moment. The master told the disciple a story. Once, a young man was always dwelling on his past mistakes and planning for future successes. An elderly sage told him one day, "The past is gone and the future is uncertain. The only time you truly have is this moment. Do not waste it." Impacted by the sage's words, the young man changed his life from that point forward, beginning to savor each moment. Inspired by the story, the disciple began to live in the moment. The master said, "Staying present brings us peace and happiness. Living each moment consciously makes life richer and more fulfilling." The disciple turned his attention to his surroundings and noticed the beauty of nature. He enjoyed the moment, feeling the chirping of birds, the breeze, and the warmth of the sun. The master added, "Living in the moment means freeing ourselves from the burdens of the past and the uncertainties of the future. It allows us to fully experience each moment and recognize the miracles of life." With this lesson, the disciple began to cherish the value of every moment. This principle deeply impacted the disciple's life, providing a constant source of peace and happiness. Living in the moment taught him to appreciate and make the most of every situation. "Living in the moment," said the master, "is the way to truly understand the essence of life and live it to the fullest." Today, we accompanied you on a journey filled with the wise teachings of Zen Buddhism. From accepting impermanence, cultivating awareness, mastering the art of letting go, harnessing the power of silence, embracing compassion and kindness, to accepting what is and living in the moment. Each principle guides us to align with the natural flow of life and find inner peace. Remember, every moment of life is valuable. Free yourself from the burdens of the past and the anxieties of the future, and enjoy living in the present. Now is the time to integrate these valuable lessons into your own life. Instead of getting lost in life's chaos, embrace these principles for a more peaceful, meaningful, and fulfilling existence. You are not alone on this journey. Together, we can create a more conscious and serene life by valuing every moment. Finally, think about how you can apply the lessons you learned today in your life. Start with a few small steps. Practice mindfulness, increase compassion in your daily life, or simply spend a few minutes in silence. These small steps can lead to significant transformations. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Also, by sharing this video with your loved ones, you can help us touch their lives too. Until our next video, stay peaceful.